Alright, so how many of you have heard of something called a buddy bench? Have you ever heard of one of these before? Okay, if you were here first service, it's not fair, because you've heard about it first service. You've had it run at school? Okay, so it's a new thing in school. So if you've been on the playground before and you've seen somebody playing and you wanted to play but you didn't know them and you couldn't figure out how to get to play with them, or if you don't have, let's say you had a fight with your best friend and you don't know, you don't have anybody to hang out with on the playground, the buddy bench is something that teachers are doing all over. And it's really not much different than 3 chairs all right here. And somebody would, if you are a friend or if you're somebody who is looking for a friend and you don't have anybody, you would sit down at the buddy bench. There's always somebody else there, whether it's a teacher or whether it's somebody else, maybe it could be one of you guys, waiting for somebody to come and say, I need somebody to play with. Somebody that I can, sit there with. So I think it's a brilliant idea, and I think teachers are embracing this all over the place, and I think it's a wonderful thing. It looks like fun. So anyway, that looks like fun, Mr. Larry.
It's a lot of fun. Wow, look at me. I'm really good at soccer. Woo!
Okay, well, as you sit on the bench, maybe you're really hoping, maybe it's one of you sitting on the bench, and you're really hoping somebody will come along and invite you to maybe play soccer with. You know what? That'd be nice, right? Invite somebody, you could be sitting there, and that looks like a lot of fun. Maybe you could kick the soccer ball around too.
Thank you. Well, you look really nice. Whoa, I just lost the ball. You look really nice. I bet you'd have some fun playing soccer.
I
but
would.
You know what? I am having so much fun on my own here that I miss going to keep right on fighting. And I sure hope somebody comes by and plays with you here real quick.
Would it be nice if someone would have asked me to play soccer? Wouldn't that be nice if someone just said, hey, would you like to play soccer with me? That didn't just happen. And how many times does that happen when in our lives, either on the playground or in other areas, other places we go, it doesn't have to be at school, where you are so involved and you having fun with what you're doing that you just completely forget about somebody else that may not have somebody there to have fun with. I mean, has that ever happened to you? Have you ever been for somebody who didn't have anybody to play with and you felt alone? Or you saw someone who needed somebody to play with, somebody to hang out with. Maybe it's not playing soccer. Maybe it's just somebody to be a friend with. You just needed somebody to talk to. You just need somebody to put their arm around you. Or you saw someone that may need your arm around them. Maybe somebody that they needed to be a friend. That's what the buddy bench is kind of for. Mr. Larry was having so much fun playing soccer, he didn't even think about asking me. I would love to play soccer. Yes, I know, it was a volleyball. I couldn't find a soccer ball, so we substituted a volleyball for a soccer ball. Get over it. But it would have been so much fun to be able to play soccer with him, but he was so involved with having fun that he didn't even realize there was somebody else that may have wanted to play too. And we do it. We get busy, and we have so much fun doing what we want to do that we don't think about somebody else sometimes. And I think it happens, but that's the way it's supposed to be. Now, I love helping people. I really do. I love getting involved. I love taking the initiative, which is seeing what needs to be done and doing it. And that's so much fun. But sometimes I get so busy in what I'm doing that I completely forget about everyone else. Or I get so busy doing what I'm doing that I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to sit and listen right now. And so I listen just for a few minutes and I keep going on to the next thing that I want to get done. Or I'm having so much fun doing what I'm doing that I don't stop to listen to somebody else or stop to allow someone else to join in on what I'm doing because I'm so involved with me. I'm so involved with what I want to get done or what I want to do. Doesn't mean I don't like helping people, but sometimes we just get so busy or so involved that we miss an opportunity to take initiative and to help someone else. And I think that's true for all of us. I think you guys can relate to that. You know, Mr. Larry didn't invite me to play soccer. He was having too much fun. It would have interfered with his fun. And it happens to us. Maybe you don't share one of your toys with a neighbor because you know that neighbor, every time you share a toy with them, it comes back in pieces. It's broke. I ain't gonna share it with him again. I ain't gonna do that. Nehemiah faced a similar story. And we've talked all month long about Nehemiah. And last week we finished up talking where Nehemiah had inspected the wall, had found out that the wall needed to be rebuilt, and he saw what needed to be done, and he reacted to it, and he's doing it. And today our story will pick up. They started rebuilding the wall, and it's starting to fall into place. But they rebuilt the wall to protect from what's on the outside. But Nehemiah probably never realized what was going to happen on the inside. And we're going to find out this morning that some problems started happening. Some things that Nehemiah was going to have to take care of. Some things that he probably didn't expect. Things he probably didn't have time to do. Because he's got a wall to rebuild, right? It's an important job. Well, here's the truth. Within the process of rebuilding the wall and getting everyone involved in it, there were other people that were living within the wall, within Jerusalem. And so they were farmers. They were people that cared for other people. They sold their produce, what they grew, and sold it in the market, and that's how they made their money. That's how they supplied for their family. Well, at this point in time, things are getting kind of hard for everyone, money-wise. And so they go and they're borrowing money to be able to have food to eat. And so they do this to the point that they borrow money from people that have more money than they do. And the people that they're borrowing money from do something that's not so nice, and they charge them interest. And all that means is they get paid the money. They get paid more money than what was lended out. Now, interest isn't such a bad thing all by itself. However, what they were doing is they were charging way much more interest than what was fair. To the point where the people were going hungry as a result. In other words, they didn't have enough food to be able to feed their family. So I need a volunteer. I need someone to come and sit on our buddy bench. Come on up. Yep. You're hungry, man. Show me how hungry you can be. I'm starving! I don't have enough to eat! He's hungry. I've been hungry. I'm hungry right now. But I don't think as hungry as they've been. I mean, he hasn't eaten for days. You haven't eaten for days, man. You're hungry. And that's how it was. They didn't have enough money to buy food. Some of them who were farmers had fields, and that's how they grew their food, both for selling and for eating it. They had to give their land to the people that they had borrowed the money from to be able to pay for their debts. So now they were hungry and they had no land to provide food for them, which left them with no home. They sold their land and they sold their houses. Parker, come on up. You're homeless, man. You have no home. Come sit on the buddy bench. No home whatsoever. No place to live. No place to take a nap. No place to go to the bathroom. No place to play with your Xbox or your PS4 or your tablet. Nothing. Your PlayStation. You have no home. PlayStation's gone, man. It's gone. No food. No home. No way to provide. And it gets even worse. The people that were in charge of lending all the money out, they made it even harder on those that didn't have enough. They started charging all the interest. Then there were taxes from the king. And it got to be so heavy that everyone inside of the walls of Jerusalem felt powerless. Come on up, Creighton. Creighton, you feel powerless. Come and join the buddy bench. And to feel powerless, another way you can describe it, it's probably like you feel like you have no hope. You know what that means? When you have no hope, it means there's no chance of ever recovering. There's no chance of ever getting back what was there before. It makes you feel like there is no chance that we can ever be the way we used to be. We'll never be a family again. We'll never have our house again. We're never going to eat again. We're going to die. That's hopeless. And that's how they felt, because they were hungry and no home and powerless. And so they go to Nehemiah. Now, we said Nehemiah was there to build the wall, right? Nehemiah's job was to build the wall. His job was not to provide food or to provide a house or to help the powerless. His job was to build the wall. So what do you think Nehemiah did? You think Nehemiah just ignored them? They were coming to complain to him? And they complained to him, and Nehemiah said, well, I've got my job right now. It's way too busy. I've got to focus on getting this done because this is what God has told me to do. What do you think he did? Do you think that's what he did? Or did he stop and listen to them and respond to them? What do you think? What do you think, Lori? He did the second one. How many think he actually stopped and listened to them and did something about it? Yeah. That's exactly what he did. Nehemiah said, I want to take care of you, and so I'm going to make sure you're fed. And so I'll take care of the hunger. Have a seat. Have a seat.
Where?
Back to your chair, man.
Oh.
I just took care of your hunger. You got a full belly now. And I'll make sure you have a home. Have a seat, Parker.
I got some home.
And because you have food and you have a home, he's got some home, you're now no longer powerless. Now, here's the thing. Things were so bad at this point when Nehemiah steps in. And Nehemiah takes care, he listens to their problem, he hears them, and he responds to it. And we're going to read about it here in just a minute in the Bible of what it actually sounded like with Nehemiah. But it was so bad, it got to the point where the parents were selling off their children as slaves. Sounds like a pretty good idea to me, right? Sell the kids for slaves? Well, that's what they had to do. It sounds really bad, but that's what they did in those days. They would sell their kids off. When they had no money, they couldn't pay their debts, they would sell off their children. And that's how they paid their debts. They were enslaved for the rest of their lives, basically. Powerless, hopeless, no hunger, or no food, hungry, no home. And that's the way it was. Nehemiah sees the problem, and he doesn't ignore it, even though he's busy, and he addresses it. And listen to what he says. This is what he says. So we can see our verses up on the screen there, Miss Edessa. He says, this is in Nehemiah chapter 5, verses 9 through 11. He says, what you are doing isn't right. He's talking to the people who have loaned all the money and have treated the people unfairly. Shouldn't you show respect for our God? Now, let me stop there for a second. Because they weren't showing respect to the other Jews, they weren't showing respect for God. Now this is huge. I want everyone to grab this, and everyone's eyes up here. All heads turned up this way. Miss Addie. This is huge. When you don't show respect to somebody else in your life, it is as if you did not show respect to God. God's commandment is very clear. Jesus said it in Matthew. You love me, and you love others. Everything else in all the law, all the commandments in the Bible, all depend on this one thing. And they're not like in order. It's not like you love God first, you love people second. They are equal. Which tells us God is just as interested in you loving Him as He is in you loving other people. And you love people by showing them respect. So here's what Nehemiah is saying. Shouldn't you show respect for our God? Otherwise notice, shouldn't you also show respect for other people by treating them right? Shouldn't you live in a way that will keep our enemies from saying bad things about us? I'm lending the people my money. This is Nehemiah talking. I'm lending people my money and my grain, And so are my relatives and my men that are helping on the wall. Give them back, but we must stop charging interest. Give the people's fields back to them. Give them back their vineyards, olive groves, and houses. Do it right away. Give everything back to them. Also give them back the 1% on the money, grain, fresh wine, and olive oil that you have charged them. In other words, help the hungry, help the homeless, help the powerless. Respond to what needs helped. Take the initiative. And here's what the people say. This is the next verse. Nehemiah chapter 5, verse 12. It's the next verse up there, Odessa. We'll give it back, and we won't require anything from them. We'll do exactly as you say. And so they give everything back. The interest, the money, the children. Although I still think it's a good idea to just sell the kids off. What do you guys think? You guys think it's a good idea? Oh, come on. All right. Just messing. I'm just messing with you.
I had to.
Yeah, just messing with you. So they give everything back and everything is made right. Nehemiah's job was to build the wall. His job was to take care of all of this. But yet he stepped up and took the initiative to do it. To take initiative requires two things. Two huge things that you cannot do by yourself. You do not have them by yourself. Requires love and courage. It's easy to love and be courageous when it's somebody you know, when it's somebody you care about. Mom, dad, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, cousin, best friend. It's not so easy to do when you have to take the initiative when it's somebody you don't know. When it's somebody you don't really care about. When it's a jerk at school. And you all have them. We have them, adults have them in our lives as well. You have people that are just mean. And we have to take initiative even when we see them in need. And to show them love. To take the initiative and care for them. Nehemiah responded to the needs of the people within the walls of Jerusalem. So who's within your walls that you can respond to a need? It might be somebody you go to school with that, they may have food. They may have all the toys in the world. But they need someone to show them the care. They don't need clothes. They just need someone to listen to them. To hear them talk. They need somebody that can be a friend to them. Someone that can show them love. Sort of like the love that Jesus shows us. And that's why you need love. It's not the easiest thing to do when it's somebody you don't know. Or it's somebody that's a real pain in your blood. But that's what we're supposed to do. It's what God commands us to do. Love me and love others. So Nehemiah does this. And even though Nehemiah is busy, he's got all kinds of stuff to do, he takes the time to do that. Now you may think, I can't fix poverty, I can't fix a home, or I can't provide food for a whole entire family. That's okay. God may ask you to do that later on in your life. What God's probably asking you to do right now is just to be willing to say, I'll do what you want me to do. Just tell me. I'll be willing to do what you want me to do. We think that it may be some big thing that God's going to ask us to do. And most of the time, it's not the big things. Most of the time, it's the smallest things that make the biggest impact. It is just speaking life, like Toby Mac says, to somebody else. And sometimes you speak life by not even saying a stinking word. Sometimes you speak life just by listening. That encourages people. Sometimes you do have to speak life, and you have to give a word of love or give a word of encouragement. Sometimes that's all somebody needs to get them through the next day. And you have the power to do that within you because of what Jesus did for us. You can take the initiative, and you can see someone else in need. Can we see our question, Odessa? Our question today says this: who do you see being treated unfairly? You may have people in your lives you see that have a need. Maybe they've been treated unfairly, and you know that, you see that. Maybe you just know that they don't have the best life at home. You know that things are rough for them. And you know that things aren't great with mom and dad. Or maybe mom and dad are separated and that things are going really bad. You can be somebody who meets their need, who shows them love, who takes the initiative, and is courageous enough to do that. Let's pray. Jesus, we thank you so much that you took the initiative to come to this earth, to love on us, to show us how the way we're supposed to live, but then you died for us so that we can have life. Thank you for giving us that life. And God, we are not supposed to hold that to ourselves. We're supposed to allow that to flow through us. So help us to be like Nehemiah. Help us to love and to be courageous. Help us to speak life to other people around us so that when we see somebody being treated unfairly, we see the need that they have, that we take the initiative, see something that needs to be done, and we do it. And we may show them encouragement, show them love, listen to them, be a friend to them, go sit on the buddy bench and wait for somebody. Because somebody is always out there who needs a friend. Somebody is always out there who needs someone to love on them, someone to care for them, someone to encourage them. God, I pray that you'd help these boys and girls and the adults in here too, me included, to be able to have eyes to see the people around us that have a need, that are maybe treated unfairly, that need us to take the initiative. And then give us the courage and the love to be able to act on it and take a step forward and say, I will take care of this. I will put aside what I will do today, my fun stuff, my work, and I'll spend time here. Help us to do that. We love you, Jesus. And all God's kids said, Amen.